how's everybody doing? It is Thursday and we are ready to answer a big question that we get asked a lot. How you doing, Peter?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. You look sharp today. I forgot my jacket today. So one of the biggest questions that we get, guys, is, especially right now with the way the market has been going the last few years, so many of our clients just expect, and some of them even hope, that the market is going to start going down, and they keep telling us, hey, should I buy right now? Should I wait till the prices go down because I want to get a good deal? And we've been getting that question asked so many times.
It's the most common question I get, and it's probably the same one you get every day.
It is. And Peter called me earlier this week and said this is something we really need to cover. So he has a very, very good explanation for you today. Right behind us here, we're going to step out of the way just a minute and he'll go through it with you. But what I've learned from it, which I guess I never really wrapped my head around it this way, it seems like from what you guys are going to see in a minute, that the interest rate is such a huge driver of the answer to this question. And you'll see how big of an impact the interest rate has over the life of the loan for you. So because the rates are so low right now, that's why we want to discuss this with you, and we want to show you why you shouldn't wait.
Yeah.
Right? That's the big question and the big answer for today. So I'm going to let Peter take over. He's going to show you up on the board exactly how the numbers break down, because we want you to see it, numbers, math next to each other, what it means to lock a very good low rate right now compared to waiting, maybe even getting a better deal on a house if they do go down, which we know they're not, at least for another year or so. We're still showing good strength in our real estate market here in Arizona. But even if it does, Peter's going to show you and break it down what that means long term. And hopefully you guys will see and agree with us that it is best to take advantage of these low interest rates now and get into a home today. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a numbers guy, so
I love it.
When I break down the numbers, sometimes it's easier for you guys to understand that. So I'm going to go through two illustrations here, which I think will better explain to you what this means for you, what it means to wait, what it means to do it now. So, the biggest questions is always, do we wait, do we buy now, and so forth. Yeah. So the illustration that I'm going to do here today is going to kind of give you a little more information and educate you on the risks of waiting and the benefits and so forth. So
perfect.
I'm going to take the first example. Let's just say we have a house that's $400,000, assuming you're putting down 5% down. Interest rate right now could be as low as 3.875. Your principal and interest on this scenario here would be $1,787. Okay. Now, if you were to stay in this loan for 30 years, meaning that you were to not refinance, not pay anything extra, you would have paid $643,000 on this loan. Sounds like a big number, but it's not as big as if you compared my second scenario. So let me go over my second scenario here.
Wait, can I stop you 1 second?
Okay.
And the reason I want to just break in is because I know I've gotten this question a lot. When people see this big number, they freak out. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? That's how much I'm paying for this house. I thought it's $300,000, not $643,000. And that's a really good question. What this number represents, guys, is if you pay the entire loan off over 30 years, which not many people do, at least in Arizona. People move a lot quicker here on average. I think it's every person moves on average 5.5 years or so. But we want to use this number to show you the difference on how much more you would pay based on the interest rate that you lock in. So don't let this number freak you out, even though it should if you're going to keep the house for 30 years, because that interest rate is going to knock that a lot. It's going to knock a lot off that number, and Peter's going to show you that how.
Well, so I guess what the way the question is what if I time the market perfect? So
right.
Let's just say that in a year or two, you may think the prices drop. So that $400,000 house today will sell for $375,000 in 2 years. I think it's unlikely, but let's just go with that scenario, right? Let's just say somebody says, we think it's going to drop.
Yeah.
I'd rather get a house for $375,000 than $400,000, right?
Yeah.
So let's go into my second scenario here. So if you purchase the same house for $375,000, assuming you put 5% down again, your loan amount will now be $356,250 instead of $380,000. But what happens if the interest rate goes up by 1%, which I think is very likely right now? We got one of the best interest rates historically that we've had in many, many years. But if the interest rate, if you don't time the interest rate properly and the rates go up by 1%, you will actually pay $1,885, which is $100 more. So this house, you're buying at $25,000 cheaper, but you're paying $100 more per month for the same house.
Yeah.
If you take this over the 30 years, it would actually cost you $678,000. That's $35,000 more. So in essence, this particular house will cost you $35,000 more than this house. But
even though you're buying it for less money,
even though you're buying it for $25,000 less.
But that's how important the interest rate is, and that's why we want to drive this home and really hope that you guys understand how amazing and how lucky we are to have the rates that we have right now. That way, if you guys are thinking about it, have been thinking about it, or might think about it in the future, get in and talk to Peter now. Give us a call, and let's see if we can get you qualified today, because you want this interest rate. You don't want that interest rate a year later or 2 years later, even if the price goes down, which again, we don't think it will, at least not in the next year or two. But if it does, but you're paying 1% more for the loan, for the interest rate, it's still going to be more money for you than if you lock in this rate today.
Right. So I want to just take it one step further, because I think one thing that people need to also take into consideration is, what if this $400,000 home in 2 years is now $425,000?
Right,
and
which we expected to be a little bit more.
Which I think is more realistic, right? That it's going to go up than go down. But what happens if it goes to $425,000? And what happens if the rates go to 4.875? Well, in your mind, you're going to say, well, I'm paying $25,000 more for this house, right? But in reality, guess how much you're paying more? And I threw out this last number here, but if you're paying $425,000 for this house, and the rates up going to 4.875, you're not paying $25,000 more. You're going to end up paying $781,000 over the life of the loan. That's $140,000. So if you don't time this right today, increasing this $25,000 more will actually increase this by $140,000.
Exactly.
So once you understand these kind of numbers, it really changes your mindset of whether should I buy, should I wait. So I guess the point that we're trying to get across today is the rates have a big factor whether you should buy or you should wait, because the price is going up or down. Yes, that's important too, and I think where that comes into effect is if you're paying cash for the house, which most people don't. But if you pay cash, more power to you. I think that's great.
Sure.
But the reality, most people are not. So if you're not paying cash, it can cost you a lot of money in the long run. $25,000 increase here can cost you another $140,000 in the long run. So these little numbers can add up to big numbers in the long time, in the long run. So I think people really need to understand this.
Yeah, huge numbers. So we hope that really makes sense. If any of this does not make sense, guys, just call, text, comment below, and we'll be happy to answer for you. Anything that I don't know, I'm gonna go to Peter anyway and ask him. But don't let lack of education or lack of information stop you from making the best decision for you and your family, because that's a lot of money to leave on the table. And if you can lock in a low rate like this, you guys absolutely got to do it. Don't wait till they go back up, because it makes a huge difference in the long run. But let's talk a little bit about that. So when people see this rate, can everybody get that rate? Absolutely not. Okay, it's got to depend on your situation. Most likely, I'm guessing the credit score is going to be the biggest driver, right?
Yeah, we talked about this in our previous videos.
Yeah.
You know, interest rates are controlled by a lot of factors. You know, your down payment, your credit score obviously is a big one, the type of loan that you're doing.
Yeah.
But right now there are, FHAs at 3.875 on a 30-year fix. So the best way for you to know what kind of rate you can get is to call me. I can run your credit. I can calculate your debt to income ratio, figure out what type of loan you would qualify for. Tell me how much you can put down, and then we'll know exactly what your rate is going to be. This illustration was more for you to understand the difference between waiting and a difference of rate going up over a course of time, and what kind of effect is that going to have on your mortgage payment.
Yeah, perfect. So that's a very good explanation, guys. So I hope that helps. I'm going to just take a quick look, see if there's any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions right now, so if you guys have questions later when you watch this video, just put them in the comment. Feel free to call me, call Peter, text us, whatever is easier for you guys. Again, as always, we do these videos to give you as much information as we can, so you have better and more education about this process so you guys can make the best decision, okay? So let us know how we can help, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, talk to you guys next time.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Great,
Good to see you.
great.